The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
The content heard on the Ask Dr. Tommy O Show is for informational or educational purposes only and does not substitute professional medical advice or consultation with healthcare professionals.
Hi, this is Dr. Thomas O'Brien. For almost 25 years, I specialize in offering families an affordable concierge service to avoid paying costly medical insurance or unreachable deductibles without giving up premium health care. As an osteopath, I offer osteopathic adjustments alongside medical examinations. Also, I offer discounts to military and first responders. I am now accepting no-fault patients, which include osteopathic adjustments, medical treatments, and prescription services, including medical marijuana. At my practice, my patients never pay copays and still receive the most personal and complete medical care. I have spent my career devoted to providing healthcare at affordable prices. Everybody should have a relationship with their physician. I work for you and your family. The honor and privilege is mine. If you have been in an automobile accident, please call my office at 631-980-8200 for an immediate appointment. To learn more about me and my practice, visit drtomio.com. Again, I am accepting no-fault patients. Call my office for an immediate appointment, 631-980-8200.
Welcome to the Ask Dr. Tommy O Show. I'm your co-host, Sam Ivani. The Ask Dr. Tommy O Show can be heard every Wednesday at 4 p.m. on 103.9 LI News Radio. We offer a very affordable concierge practice, which allows you access to the quality care you really deserve. With no rush office visits, you and Dr. Tommy O have time to discuss your healthcare needs.
If you wait, it may be too late. To my military family, I got your six. To my Masonic brothers, the light is bright.
For the next month, we're giving away 50 vouchers for a full body adjustment, including a detailed physical and spinal examination, along with a personalized adjustment treatment plan, all for just $49, normally a $250 total value. This is a limited time offer as we've had a lot of interest, so we encourage you to call the office today and schedule your appointment. We look forward to serving you.
How are you today?
Good. I haven't done this in a while. I'm out of breath now.
There you go. All right. So we got some special news today. What happened today?
My last final, thank God. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
School's out for summer.
Yes, it is. Summer began today.
There you go. You said it was a difficult one. What were we talking, 10 pages? What was that?
10-page paper.
10-page paper.
It was a research paper. Oh my God.
Oh.
It was a long one.
It was a long one?
Yeah.
What was it on?
We got to pick our own topics. So I picked nonverbal versus verbal communications in relationships.
Right.
I had to do interviews. I had to write everything down, do qualitative, quantitative analysis. I'm exhausted.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, boy, I remember those days. All right. Today's topic is going to be on eating disorders. So let's talk about eating disorders. It's pretty common out there, right? You see that on college campus?
All the time, especially with kids my age and with the stress. They don't even realize that they have eating disorders.
Right. So we'll go over. According to the National Institute of Health, there's a commonly held misconception that eating disorders are a lifestyle choice. Eating disorders are serious and often fatal illnesses that are associated with severe disturbances in people's eating behaviors and related thoughts and emotions. Preoccupation with food, body weight, and shape may also signal an eating disorder. Common eating disorders include anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating disorders. All right, and this is where we see the dysmorphic, where you look in a mirror and your body images, your perception. One's perception is different than what they see in the mirror. Okay, so. Very common. It's out there. It's more common with women. Men have it. They do have this, but just more common with women. Typically, women want to be thin and men want to be larger. That's why we're meatballs and we're in the gym, gym rats, and we're, banging the weights there trying to get size, and women want to get smaller. I mean, there is a small percentage of men that want to get smaller, and then there's a small percentage of women that want to get larger, but typically it's the opposite.
All right, so what is anorexia?
Okay, anorexia. Anorexia is a condition where people avoid food, severely restrict food, or eat very small quantities of food, okay? They really get that caloric intake down. This is below what we call the basal metabolic rate. So I explained this before in the past. The basal metabolic rate is the amount of food, energy that's required for us just to breathe. Okay, just basically to lay in bed and breathe. That's how I was taught. And then if you start to go below that, okay, the caloric intake, the amount of energy required, then we start to have issues. We can have issues, okay? And then we can have, which I will describe later on, but psychological and physiological issues with the body there. They may also weigh themselves repeatedly, okay? Even when dangerously underweight, they may see themselves as overweight. Again, that's that, when they're looking in the mirror, that image that they're seeing, it's dysmorphic. I mean, it's just, their perception and reality is different, okay?
Are there subtypes of anorexia?
Yes, there are. There are two subtypes of anorexia. The first is restrictive, and the second is binge purge. Binge purge.
What is a characteristic of restrictive subtype of anorexia?
Yes. Okay. Well, it's built into the name, restrictive. So these individuals severely limit the amount of type of food they consume. And when we're talking about food consuming, we're talking about the caloric intake. That's what we're really saying. This is the terminology that's used for the layperson, but for me, we're talking about caloric intake, the amount of calories. They restrict the caloric intake. Typically, these individuals are, you'll see them under 90 pounds, like women. Their body weight will be 90 or less, okay? And then you could see like their bones. You see the skeleton. I mean, you see their rib cage. They're really, really, really skinny. Starting to get into that Skeletor. And that's what they look like Skeletor, the character Skeletor.
What is a characteristic seen in binge purge subtype of anorexia?
Right. Individuals restrict the amount of and type of food. Again, let's talk caloric intake. They restrict the amount of caloric intake, the calories. In addition, okay, what they do is they will binge eat, okay, hit a lot of calories, and then they have purging episodes, which consist of, like I just said, large amounts of food in a short period of time, and followed by vomiting or using laxatives or diuretics to get rid of what they just consumed, okay? So all of a sudden they eat a lot, eat, and then what they do is they make themselves vomit, okay? And binge and then purge.
So I know people have, a lot of people have anxiety, and it tends to make them nauseous. Would that be a part of anorexia, from anxiety? You make yourself
Well, yeah, because it's the mind, body, spirit, okay? You have to have all three components working together to be healthy. Okay. Now, if your mind is not there, right, your perception is reality. If you're looking in the mirror and your perception is different than reality, okay, and then what happens to your spirit? Right? You start knocking yourself down, all right, and then you can make yourself sick by just being very anxious. You ever say, you're so worried, I got this exam, next thing I'm starting to feel sick, okay? Now, imagine with caloric restriction, I mean, really keeping your calories down low. It's not a healthy state. You're not able to think right, okay? We need sugars for the brain. We need sugar for our eyesight, okay, for eyes. You get very irritable. When you haven't eaten and you get really, really hungry, what happens? You get irritable, right?
That's what my mom says. She hates when I'm hungry.
All right, so just imagine that. So what does that do to that psyche? You got to be irritated. Well, also hormonal, okay? Hormones. Now, for testosterone and estrogen, your core hormone, the core itself, not the side chains, the core, it's your fat molecule, okay? So if we start to reduce the calories, so you start to lower the body fat, we're not going to be able to have our hormonal balance, okay? So we need balance. I mean, again, mind, body, spirit, mind, body, soul, but hormonally as well, okay? We always say the ankle bone's connected to the leg bone's connected to the knee to the... That song's true, okay? It is, but it's more than just the muscle skeletal. It's also the blood, right? The blood travels throughout the entire body and carries hormones and what we call protein carriers, nutrition, oxygen. It brings to the the organs itself, and then it also takes away the byproducts, CO2 and all breakdown byproducts that are not healthy for us, and we remove them either via kidney or when you have a bowel movement. All right, that's why we have the liver. Liver detoxifies, and it's organs that keep us healthy. All of those organs become unhealthy. All right, so we're down to about 45 seconds already. So is there anything you want to say, Mom, Sis?
Happy Mother's Day, Mama.
Yes, that's right. Now, Sunday, okay, the second time this show's air will be on Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all our listeners, okay? And this is coming from Long Island News Radio, so happy Mother's Day. Again, I want to thank my listeners for giving me this opportunity to help educate our community. So happy Mother's Day. And to Baby Cakes, happy Mother's Day. I love you. And thank you for being my partner and my rock, okay, and helping me when I'm going through some difficult times. You're there for me. All right, so we'll catch you on the second half of the show.
Welcome back to the Ask Dr. Tommy O Show. I'm your co-host, Sammy Vanny.
All right, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. Stress-free now.
Stress-free?
Woo.
So getting ready for summer?
I can't wait.
You can't wait?
It's going to be a good one.
All right, you're going to come over?
I'll come over.
Yeah, you're going to do that? We got going swimming in the pool?
You're going to have to drag me out of City Field, though.
There you go. That's it. You're going to go out on the boat and hang out? There you go. All right. Okay, so you did well this semester?
I did. Better than I thought I would, honestly.
Okay, good. Well, that's it. I think everything's going your way. Thinking positive. Everything is. It's all about feeling good about self-esteem. Now you turn around and brag. You got your own show now, right? It's important, right?
I feel important now. I have all these lines.
That's it. All right, so let's continue. Today's topic, what did we say was?
Anorexia.
Well, eating disorders.
Eating disorders, yes.
Okay, anorexia is just one of the eating disorders, and we're going to continue. So we opened up the show discussing what eating disorders are and defining anorexia nervosa. That's actually the full name. And then we started, defining the difference between the subtypes. The first one is restrictive caloric intake. And that's where you really reduce the amount of calories that you're eating every single day so you can lose the weight. That forces the body to go into beta oxidation, where you're using the fat for energy. And then we have a lot of issues that happen with that. When you start, you want to be able to burn fat, but you also don't want to burn protein. We're looking for sources of energy, so you start to break the body down. I always say, you ever see a skinny fat person? They look good in clothes, right? But when they take the clothes off, there's no tone anymore. That's because they're muscle wasting, because they're using that for energy. But besides that, you're talking all the systems that start to break down in the body because of you're not having a lot of caloric intake. Now, let's say for women having their menses, and a lot of women say, "Well, great, I don't have my menses. Get rid of that monthly thing." But if in order to start your menses, you have to have 22% body fat. Okay, and to maintain that, you need to have 17%. Okay, and that's why when female athletes, I'm talking about that really not even talking about elite. I'm talking about like AAU. Those who really compete, college at the level, they will not have their menses because their body fat percentage is below that, and it just shuts down because of hormones. Okay, there's a lot of other issues that we have. All right, so let's continue.
All right. Can anorexia be fatal?
Yes, it can be. It is extremely, has a high mortality rate compared with other mental disorders. Individuals with anorexia risk dying from medical complications associated with starvation. Also, suicide is the second leading cause of death associated with anorexia. So a lot of people probably didn't know that. But again, that body dysmorphic, you're looking in the mirror and perception is reality and what they're saying. And then they keep saying to themselves, I need to lose more weight. I need to lose more weight. Well, your systems start to break down. And then it's just your thought process, because it's the mind, body, spirit, mind, body, soul. You need a healthy mind. Okay. So then you start to think, you just said, that's it. I can't. That's it. I'm done. And then you start to have suicidal ideologies, and then you actually either attempt suicide or you go through with the suicide, which we don't want. I always ask my questions if someone is asking me about, I will ask them certain questions. If I don't like their answer, I will rush them to the hospital, because I'm concerned. It is a medical emergency. If you have suicidal ideology, you want to hurt yourself or someone else, I need to get you to that ER immediately. That's how serious it is.
So what are the signs and symptoms of anorexia?
All right. Well, again, extremely restricted eating. Okay, reduced caloric intake, very reduced. Extreme thinness. Okay. Where you're just starting to look like Skeletor. Most of us, you saw the cartoon Skeletor, or you look at a skeleton, right? And you're starting to see the bony, prominent high points. You see the rib cage, you see the backbone, the vertebrae. Then and saying not taking enough calories. The relentless pursuit of thinness or unwillingness to maintain a normal, healthy weight. Again, that perception, looking in the mirror, saying, I need to lose more, I need to lose more, I need to lose more. Intensive fear of gaining weight. Distorted body image, and that's what I'm talking about. The self-esteem that is heavily influenced by perception of body weight and shape, or denial of the seriousness of low body weight. Then you start to see osteopenia or osteoporosis, and that's when you start to, when you're getting into a long-term effect. Mild anemia and muscle wasting, which I mentioned earlier, and weakness. You start to see a brittle hair and nails, okay, because you need the protein. The protein is what gives the hair and nail strength, and then the fat is what coats it and gives it that nice shine. It becomes very brittle. I remember when I was in medical school, I was dieting down to go into a natural bodybuilding competition, and because my caloric intake was so low that my hair started it became brittle and started to literally crack, and fall and snap, you know what I mean? And I'm like, whoa, that's getting a little bit too low. So I'm putting tons of conditioner in my hair to keep it moist. And I said, okay, I can't do this.
Now you have your full head of hair.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so let's go on to the next question.
All right, what is bulimia?
All right, bulimia is an eating disorder where people have recurrent and frequent episodes of eating unusually large amounts of food. This is what we call the binge aspect, followed by behavior to compensate for the overeating, such as forcing vomiting, excessive use of laxatives or diuretics, fasting, excessive exercise, or combination of any of the above behaviors. Okay, so you're gonna binge. Again, this would be a binge and purge. Okay, but you're gonna eat a lot. You're gonna eat, and all of a sudden you go, oh. And then you'll say, I got to get rid of all that food. Okay? So that's what the bulimia is.
What are signs and symptoms of bulimia? Okay,
so you got this is when I interview a person, I'm looking at certain features. The first one would be chronically inflamed and a sore throat. Okay, why? Because when you vomit, you got the gastric juice coming up and it's burning. It burns. Okay, so it's scarring the back or causing sores in the back of the throat. Swollen salivary glands in the neck or the jaw. One, they could be infected, or because of the acid and forcing yourself to salivate, right? Well, you have a gag and you have a lot of, or you started to choke on something, you have a lot of salivation, okay? Saliva that's being produced. Well, what happens is it gets irritated and it gets swollen. It can become infected as well. Worn tooth enamel and an increasing sensitivity and decaying of teeth. As a result of the stomach acid, and which I just mentioned, and scrape marks on the nails, okay? Because what they do is they shove their fingers down their throat, and the bottoms of their teeth hit the top of the nail, and you're going to see scraping, okay? Or even the knuckles, you'll see scraping and scarring on the top of the knuckles there. acid reflux disorders, and other gastrointestinal problems. Intestinal distress and irritation from laxatives, okay, because that's going to be, from taking laxatives. It could be orally or anally. If they're using a laxative from below, you're going to irritate the mucosa from below. Severe dehydration from purging of fluid, vomiting all the time. You're going to have problems with electrolytes because you're losing, fluid, more than just fluid, more than water. And then the last would be electrolyte imbalance.
Right, and what is binge eating?
Okay, binge eating disorders where an individual loses control over their eating and having recurring episodes of eating unusually large amount of food, okay? Excessive caloric intake. Binge eating is not followed by purging, excessive exercise, or fasting. As a result, people with binge eating disorder are often overweight or obese. Binge eating disorder is the most common eating disorder in the U.S. All right, so I hope that everyone learned about eating disorders here because there's so much to cover in so little time. So we got 25 seconds. Anything you'd like to say?
Happy Mother's Day, Mama, again.
There you go. Happy Mother's Day. Again, this is coming from Long Island News Radio Station 103.9. We're wishing everyone Happy Mother's Day. And I want to wish Baby Gates Happy Mother's Day. Love you. And to learn more about my practice, go to drtomio.com. That's drtomio.com. Or give my office a call at 631-980-8200.
The content heard on the Ask Dr. Tommy O Show is for informational or educational purposes only and does not substitute professional medical advice or consultation with healthcare professionals.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.